My father was my rock, always steady, always strong. He was the one I ran to when I scraped my knee. He was the one who taught me to ride my bike. When my heart first broke, he held me while I cried. He was my everything. Losing him months before my wedding was a blow that nearly shattered me. He should have been there, walking me down the aisle. He should have been there to see me marry the man of my dreams. Life, however, had other plans. We were close, my father and I. We shared secrets. We shared dreams. And in those last few weeks we shared a silent understanding that our time together was running out. He held my hand tight, his eyes filled with a love that transcended words. "Be happy," he whispered, his voice raspy. "Find your joy." The day of my wedding dawned bright and beautiful. Sunshine streamed through the windows, painting everything in a golden glow. The air buzzed with excitement, guests bustled about, their faces filled with anticipation. But beneath the surface, a current of sadness ran deep. My father should have been here. He should have been standing beside me, his hand resting reassuringly on mine. He would have cried, I knew, tears of pride and joy. Instead, a single white rose lay upon a chair, a symbol of his absence. A poignant reminder of the love we shared and the future we would never have. My brother Mark insisted on fulfilling our father's final wish, a letter, to be read aloud after I said, "I do," a harmless sentiment, we all thought. A father's last words to his daughter on her wedding day. What could be wrong with that? The ceremony went off without a hitch. I fought back tears as I glanced at the empty chair, the white rose a stark contrast to the vibrant bouquet in my trembling hands. My fiancé David squeezed my hand, his eyes filled with love and support. And then, Mark began to read. The words at first were filled with love, words of pride, words of hope for my future. Then the tone shifted. The letter spoke of a promise, a deathbed confession. My father, it turned out, had made David vow never to marry me. The room went silent. All eyes turned to David, his face now ashen. He looked at me, his eyes filled with a mixture of panic and shame. He tried to speak, to explain, but the words caught in his throat. Without another word he turned and fled, ran straight out of the church, leaving me standing there, the weight of my father's words crushing me. The silence stretched on, broken only by the gasps and whispers of the stunned guests. The days that followed were a blur. The wedding, my father's letter, David's betrayal, it was all too much. My world, once filled with love and the promise of a happy future, lay in shattered ruins around me. Friends and family rallied around, offering comfort and support. But their words seemed distant, muffled, as if coming from the other side of a thick glass wall. I was trapped in my own private hell, the pain too raw, too consuming. My mother, her own grief compounded by mine, held me as I cried. She didn't need to ask why, she knew. Somehow she had always known. The whispers started almost immediately. At first they were quiet, hesitant. But as the days turned into weeks, they grew bolder, more insistent. People speculated, they judged. Why would my father extract such a promise? What could David have possibly done to warrant such a drastic measure? The questions swirled around me, each one a fresh stab to my already broken heart. The truth, when it finally emerged, was far more mundane than anyone could have imagined. A misunderstanding, a business deal gone wrong, a grudge held for far too long. It was petty, it was ridiculous, and it had cost me everything. Time, they say, heals all wounds. But the scars remain, a constant reminder of the pain that was endured. Slowly, painstakingly, I began to piece my life back together. I focused on my work, throwing myself into it with a ferocity that surprised even me. I reconnected with friends, rediscovering the healing power of laughter and shared experiences. And gradually, the world started to regain its color. The sharp edges of my grief softened, replaced by a dull ache that no longer threatened to consume me. I was still angry, yes, but the anger was no longer all-consuming. It had been tempered by a newfound understanding. Forgiving David was easy. He was young, caught in the crossfire of a feud he didn't fully understand. He had made a mistake, yes, but he didn't deserve the pain he had endured. Forgiving my father, however, was a much harder journey. How could he do this to me? How could he, from beyond the grave, reach out and shatter my happiness? But as I sifted through the fragments of my grief, I began to see things differently. My father had acted out of love, however misguided. He had thought he was protecting me, shielding me from future pain. Love. It's a powerful force. It can heal, it can destroy, and sometimes it can manifest in the most unexpected ways. My father's love for me may have been flawed, but it was real. And in the end, it was his love that taught me the true meaning of forgiveness. Not forgetting, not condoning, but simply letting go of the anger and the pain. I never married again, but I found my joy, just as my father had urged me to do. I built a life filled with purpose and meaning, a life that honored his memory in the best way possible, a life well lived, a life filled with love.